mic 2 is what Ty is on. So I'm going to pull down mic 1 and 3, and I'm going to pull up mic 2.
What's going on, Bloomington Normo? I am Ty Smith, modern Renaissance man, and you listen to my show, Cancel This, at Cities 92.9, the News Talk of Bloomington Normal. The phone number here is 309-451-9299. You can text the show at 309-451-9299. And if you would like to call in on the internet, you can go on to YouTube, type in Modern Renaissance Man, and when you see a thumbnail that shows me being live on the air, click on that thumbnail where I can interact with you and you can interact with me. You can also chime in and let the radio world hear your voice as well. So starting things off as always, hope you guys are all doing well out there, especially my friends and family down there in Florida who was hit with Hurricane Ian, however y'all want to say it. It was all kinds of different names that were coming in, but it's Hurricane IAN. Just playing, folks, just playing. Just a little bit of humor there. Lighten up a little bit, folks. Quit being so stiff. Anyway, during that time that it was going on, the hurricane was hitting, Hurricane Ian was hitting, I had a live recording that was going on my channel, allowing Floridians to actually have access to news. Why? Because a lot of people lost power. But thankfully, there were a lot of people who still had access to their phones. The cell phone towers apparently were working well for a lot of people. So what I did, I had a long live streaming of Fox News playing during that time. And you might ask yourself why. The reason is because some people who may have evacuated a little bit, some people who may have gotten out a little bit, they ended up finding out what was going on in their neck of the woods. So for example, if someone lived in the area that was kind of hit with a lot of water from the surges and all, those individuals were watching my channel to get updates while the news was playing to let them know how bad their neighborhoods were, because some people were already possibly trying to return back home to their area, to their neighborhoods before everything was over. So that's the reason why we live streamed it on there. So again, folks, so the listeners out there, definitely have some prayers going on out there, because guys, the hurricane is one of the things that drove my family out of Florida. We got tore up really bad when Hurricane Michael hit. If you guys remember that one, the house that we were in was 3 feet off the ground and the water was 3 feet in the house. I don't know if y'all heard that. We were already 3 feet off the ground and the water was 3 feet in the house. That's how much it was. A lot of people don't understand a lot of things that go into preparation. If you are in an area that's going to possibly be hit, there's a lot of things you have to do besides getting the heck out of there. There's things that you have to do depending on who you are and what type of what type of physicality you have. So for example, they'll tell us, okay, if you got dining room tables or anything that's high off the ground, put certain furniture, put certain items on top of those tables in case water get in the house, and what that does is that the weight of the items that you put on the table will keep the table from possibly floating away. But yet at the same time, if the water is rising up, it'll keep your table from floating away should there be anything that's not on the table, right? So that's one of the things they had us do, as well as making sure that you get all the things that are going to be like very, very, very sentimental to you. Pictures, items, etc. Okay, things like that. So during the time that I was living down there, we didn't, me and my family, we didn't play any games for some odd reason. Whenever we was told that there was going to be a tropical storm or if it is going to be something that's going to kind of hit close, even though the Floridians, they were like, oh, Ty, it's just a tropical storm. It's not going to do anything. Guess what? Since I lived in the vacation town, I took time and said, you know what? I'm going to take a vacation and head back up to the Midwest just in case. And so Hurricane Michael absolutely devastated Panama City, Mexico Beach. And the beach Panama City Beach itself did get hit, but not as bad as Panama City and also not as bad as Mexico Beach. And even to this day, a lot of my friends down there tell me that some of the insurances still have not completely kicked in and took care of a lot of damage that they had there. Some of my friends told me that they still, on one side of their house, they still have a tarp up there. That was back in 2018, ladies and gentlemen. So when I finally went back to go visit about a year after Michael hit, I literally cannot tell you guys where I was. You're talking about living several years in Panama City, Lynn Haven, several years of living in there. There's a place called Highway 77 where you know how it is, guys, where you ride down the road, your mind instantly put these images in your head of different places. You got landmarks, you know where this building is, where this tree is, where this Dairy Queen is, where this Wendy's is, where this McDonald's is. You know where all these things are while you're living in this town that you live in. So imagine here if you're living in Bloomington, Veterans Parkway, a major artery in Bloomington, right? In Bloomington Normal, right? Imagine you coming into Bloomington riding a Veterans Parkway and you have no idea where you're at. There's no trees. There's no mall. There's no, what is that? The stores over there, Schnucks, over in that area. There's no Cities 92.9. There's no Walmart. Imagine you ride into a town and those things are completely gone. I don't mean like, oh, you can tell there was some devastation. Oh, you can tell that there was some building damage. No, I'm talking about going back and them things being completely gone, like leveled. Debris just blown everywhere. We went back and had no idea where we were. In fact, the building that I worked in, the sports/physical therapy complex and fitness center that I worked in was called the Healthplex there. Went back, it was completely gone. So what it does, it messes with your mind a little bit. You don't know where you are. You don't know you're north from south, and it just throws you off. So what it does, it messes with you emotionally because things are not the same no more. And all of a sudden, people, friends and family that you are so used to seeing all the time, that you're so used to being with, that you're so used to gathering with, all of a sudden it disrupts all of that. So now you can't meet like you used to. Now you can't probably go to the church events like y'all used to. You can't see each other on church the following. Who knows how long it will be before you guys can actually see each other in church anymore? Who knows how long it will be before you guys can see each other in your favorite gathering spot that you used to gather at, like a restaurant or something of the sort. Panama City had a thing where they had like a Friday fest almost every Friday. You get to go down there, see live entertainment. People bring their dogs. People get to pretty much socialize with each other. Those things were all gone. So imagine that. So now what I'm saying therefore is that I understand that when it comes to materialistic things like the buildings and structures, I understand that those things have to be rebuilt. But what a lot of people don't think about is the emotional, the social things that also has to be rebuilt. These are things a lot of people just don't think about because those things are devastating as well, along with, if there was some shape, form, or fashion, loss of life, people losing their loved ones, people losing their dogs. So absolutely 100% make sure that you have some prayers for them, folks. Also, shout out to any of the medical facilities like hospitals. I know when I was living there, they had any medical professional. They wanted us to be on call. And if the hurricane was going to hit, no matter what the size of the storm was supposed to be, they wanted all the medical professionals and their family. And get this, folks, in Florida, they love their pets and your pets. Now, we're not talking about no boa constrictors or anything like that. We're talking about dogs, cats. They will allow you to bring those to the hospital as well and have them in a certain area. But you as a medical professional, you were to go to the hospital and be on standby. That way, if anybody needed help, if anybody came in hurt, you would be able to be there to assist. And that's one thing that I absolutely 100% loved about. Now, the other thing that a lot of people don't take into consideration is things like tornadoes that are spun off of these hurricanes. A friend of mine down there in Panama City showed video of tornadoes coming right through the area in the hospital that I worked at down there. Absolutely 100% amazing. There's other things people don't take into consideration, like wild animals from the ocean coming inland. They had alligators. I know this was before the hurricane hit. Me and my wife and my family, we were out in the area called, there was a park out there on the beach. We went to this park, and this park actually had an alligator in the water. It was a 6-footer, and they just, oh, that's just a baby. It's just a baby. And okay. And we black folks ain't used to seeing no wild animals like that. I mean, the wildest animal we see where we're from is a pit bull. So you went into the super predator realm right there with an alligator. We're not used to seeing things like that. And then black bears too. So imagine this water pushed these things inland. Sharks as well. Right now, you can go online and see somebody have it on video that there were sharks in the water in the neighborhood flashing around. The shark didn't know where it was or anything like that. But the point is, these animals don't know that they're at mainland. They're still going to function as super predators. So that's another thing to take into consideration, because people were being injured by animals. People were being killed by wildlife that a lot of people don't report on. I know the news don't talk about this either. So case in point is this, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that you are praying for Florida. Make sure if there's anything you can do to help out there, make sure you do it. Whether you donate, whether you call, whether you are sending some type of water, things of the sort. Call organizations that you know that represent really well, that you can trust to be able to help folks like that down there, because they are definitely going to need it, folks. All right. So yeah, I know I got a heart. Y'all didn't think I did y'all? Anyway, folks, we're coming up on a break right here, and we'll get right back onto this. You're listening to Cities 92.9, the news and talk of Bloomington Normal. Be right back. All right, folks. I'm trying to get a video here going for you guys, and I'm trying to find it. Can you guys hear me pretty well?
So you see what I did there? I pulled up.
Temps will drop into the upper 40s tonight, and on Sunday, mostly sunny, highs in the lower 70s.
And then I just kind of
Can you guys hear me pretty well?
the next element. Yeah, I just clicked on it.
With the extra time.
Yeah, he had
You
like
cut the music off and you
Find
click
out
on
what's
so
playing
it can
and how
Yeah,
to
he had like
Plus,
15
read up
seconds.
on
I was going by that. I thought you were saying it because this wasn't right. Okay,
I'm just still like using these. You've got that whole time. If
I got you.
Looking for a proven fitness routine with guaranteed results?
I'm currently training for a half marathon. I wouldn't
Where
have been
is
able to
my-
achieve without having done ferals.
Like,
Next
you can
orientation is October
where
8th.
we're at.
No,
Well,
that's
Luxury
what I was
body
asking.
shaping.com.
That's what he had.
That's not what I'm trying to do. Computer, stop.
But the clean ones, did it
Maybe you
trail
can
his
choose this. You're here now. You're going to go out
Isn't
there
that
and
music?
be an
All right, appreciate that you guys can hear me. Let's
It's up
see.
to you.
So that's the difference.
So what are you gonna
Same
do?
thing about a sound difference.
You're going to go grocery shopping.
Yeah, there's no bumpers on.
Either emotionally and physically. You got to dig deeper. Try through the physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do.
Right.
Don't give up.
But he doesn't have any
Don't ever
end of segment
give up.
bumpers.
David's month is
Which
This is your
David's
time.
automatically
Oh, we're
fires.
talking-
I don't have automatic bumpers
and
because he's a
yourself.
professional.
You're tougher than
David Cole's not a
tough.
professional. No, David Cole is a
I
little
know you
bit
miss
older
Wick.
and can't get out of his segments as fast as Ty does. Ty's very good at it, and he doesn't even need me really to
Yeah.
do this. I'm just showing you to help. So he could see on his end when to wrap up his segments.
But just in case, if I'm flowing, I'm looking at this way, you can just like,
Yeah,
or even a caller and all that.
no, yeah, caller. So usually what I do to let I know we've got a caller. I'll do this.
I'll be right back, folks.
We haven't had one yet.
What's going on, Bloomington Normal? I am Ty Smith, modern Renaissance man, and you're listening to my show, Cancel This. The phone number here is 309-451-9299. You can text the show at 309-451-9299. If you would like to see me live in the studio where I can interact with you and you interact with me, you can call in on the internet. Yes, you can do that, folks. Technology has completely changed. Then you will go onto YouTube and type in Modern Renaissance Man. You will see a thumbnail showing me being live on the air. Click that thumbnail and you will see me in the studio looking you dead in the eye. And you can talk to me. You can get online. You can get on air and let the voices of all you people be heard. All right. All right. So you guys just got done hearing me talking about the Hurricane Ian damaging Florida and giving prayers and all that good stuff out to Florida, which I hope you do. And we're going to switch gears here. So what I want to talk to you guys about is I hope and I wonder if you guys heard the video of this doctor going on Planned Parenthood and gets asked a question about can men get pregnant? Biological men. So I want y'all to pay attention to this. Check this out. Give me a second. Let's see if we can get this on there.
Let's
Listen to
talk
this.
about biology. And let's just keep it real simple. Just two yes or no questions. And this is for Dr. Kumar. Dr. Kumar, can biological men become pregnant and give birth?
So men can have pregnancies, especially trans men.
So can biological men become pregnant and give birth? So are you saying that a biological female who identifies as a man and therefore becomes pregnant is, quote, a man? Is that what you're saying?
These questions about who can become pregnant are really missing the point. I'm here to talk
No,
about what's happening in Texas.
This is me
Somebody-
asking a question
I'm answering
and
your
you
question.
answering. I'm asking the question, sir, not you.
Right, and I'm answering the question. Somebody with a uterus may have the capability of becoming pregnant, whether they're a woman or a man. That doesn't make a difference.
Okay, we're done.
Not
We're
every
done.
person with
This
a uterus
isn't complicated.
has the ability
Let
to
me
become
tell you, if
pregnant.
a person has
This
a
is
uterus
medicine.
and is born female, they are a woman. That is not a man, and the vast majority of the world considers that to be a woman because there are biological differences between men and women. I mean, clearly, any high school biology class teaches that men and women have different chromosomes. Females are XX chromosome and male are XY chromosome. Can't believe it's necessary to say this, but men cannot get pregnant and cannot give birth, regardless of how they identify themselves. Why in the world would Democrats have brought in a person whose title is Director of Trans Care for an abortion hearing when only biological women can become pregnant? Dr. Kumar, in your opening statement, you said, quote, abortion bans are inherently racist, inherently classist, and fundamentally part of the white supremacy agenda.
Pay attention to this, ladies and gentlemen. Catch this.
How do you rationalize working for Planned Parenthood, an organization founded by Margaret Sanger,
Uh-oh.
someone who associated with white supremacist groups and
Uh-oh.
eugenics? Margaret Sanger's entire focus was to decimate communities of color
Oh, what? What now? What he saying? What?
through abortion to eliminate their future generations.
You know, at a time,
Get him.
How many abortions have you performed in your lifetime?
if I can answer your
No,
question,
no. How many abortions have you performed in your lifetime?
likely thousands.
Likely thousands. Okay. So as a doctor yourself, do you believe you have terminated enough unborn babies to justify Margaret Sanger's beliefs?
Woo! Now, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I know y'all are like, what in the world? So this is what I love about this. He starts off quoting what the Dr. Kumar, who says, who I have no idea how this dude got his medical degree. First of all, you guys know, I'm the person that I know I can decipher stuff like nobody's business. You're not going to get by me with sleight of words. He starts this off. The doctor starts this off being asked, can biological men get pregnant? The doctor answered and said, men can, especially trans men. So he's sitting there admitting that not only can a man get pregnant, but a trans man can too. This is a doctor. I told y'all, folks, just because somebody is of a certain status does not mean they are the smartest person, does not mean they are the most intelligent person because they hold a title like a doctor or a politician or a lawyer or a CEO. They are not the smartest people. This doctor, who I'm surprised, and I'm going to see if the AMA is going to come out and backtrack on this man just gave out some false information saying that a man can get pregnant. Yes, y'all heard that. He said a man can get pregnant, especially trans men. This is a doctor, folks, and here's the good part about this. This is not good, but I love it. This doctor made quote saying that people who try to pretty much prevent folks from getting abortions, they are like of white supremacy, it's a racist, et cetera, But then Mr. Clyde turns around and throws it in this guy's face and said, Margaret Sanger, who actually had it out pretty much to want to get rid of the black people, period. It's in her books, ladies and gentlemen. He said, how many abortions have you performed? And he tried to, well, if I can answer the first question, no, Mr. Clyde, How many abortions have you performed, sir? In other words, how many little black children have you killed, sir? This dude said thousands. Ladies and gentlemen who are listening, you tell me what looks like it's racist, what looks like it's supremacy, what looks like it's trying to get rid of the black community. Who's killing them? Well, Ty, it's a little different now because he's not making them. No. Yes, they are. They are encouraging the young, ignorant people, definitely in the black community, to go in and kill their children. Plain and simple. So this is what I said the other day, folks. A lot of folks get upset with this, but it's a hard pill to swallow. It's fine. I'm going to make you swallow it anyway, along with a big old glass of cold water. Unless you like milk, I'll give you milk too with it. Here's the thing. Folks will sit there and scream all day long what they did to our ancestors. Look what they did to our ancestors. We were enslaved for 400 years. Look what they did to us then. You sit there and get pissed off about what they did to black people in the past, but you're not getting pissed off about what they're doing to black people who has no future? What do you mean black people don't have a future? The ones you're killing, they are encouraging you to go in and kill your babies. Oh, we'll give you a cheeseburger. We'll give you some fries. I tell you what, if you do this, guess what else you'll get? You get this prize. You get that prize. You get some tickets to Six Flags. If you would just kill your little babies. Go ahead, kill the little pre-bastards. That's exactly what they're doing, ladies and gentlemen. You can refute this all day long, but the evidence says otherwise, folks. Look it up right now. Look how many millions of children have already been killed, been murdered, didn't even have a chance, didn't even have a shot. So this is what I'm saying. A lot of people, yeah, and I know I tick y'all off because I bring it real like that, but it doesn't matter to me. You'll get over it. Don't sit there, and I'm just being honest. A lot of blacks, a lot of especially white liberals, a lot of y'all who sit there and always want to virtue signal to the black people. Oh, white supremacy, white privilege, systemic racism. We need to teach CRT. We need to teach diversity, equity, inclusion. The black people are disenfranchised. But then yet at the same time, you encourage black people to go kill their kids. No, rock bop, rang-a-dang, or tongue-tied, huh? Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. Well, no ties did because all we want, see, technically what we're doing, we're trying to actually keep it to where black people can have a good future, because if they kill their children, then they don't have to worry about the sacrifices of having to go possibly work a job. They don't have to worry about the sacrifice of possibly having to work 2 jobs. Guess what? They don't have to have no responsibility of raising a child either. So by them killing the baby, they have a better chance, a better future themselves. But what about the baby future? What about the child's future? Nobody cares about that, huh? When it all comes down to it, ladies and gentlemen, this world is putting a lot of people on this no accountability psychological kick. Nobody is accountable for it. Look, if you can make a sin like murder have a support group, and it can actually be supported by law, and it can actually be a social construct that everybody just has to accept it, then most people will feel like they're not doing anything wrong. But nobody's talking about the long-term effects that it's having on these individuals that go in there and get this done, are they? See, that's the trick of the enemy, ladies and gentlemen. They will encourage you all day long to go in there and get these things done. Go chemically castrate your son. Go get your daughter's mammary glands cut out. Get all that stuff cut out. Change their whole anatomy up. But nobody's talking about the long-term ramifications. Go in there and have as many abortions as you can. But nobody's talking about what it's doing to you on the inside as a woman, or what it's doing to you as a woman psychologically. No, because when those individuals come out and they want to talk about the issues that they're having after they made a terrible decision, the ones who encourage them to do it are nowhere to be found. For the people in the back that didn't hear me, those who encourage you to do this crazy stuff to your children, changing their sex, this gender affirmation, going and killing your children by aborting them, those individuals and the world and the system that will sit there and encourage you to go out and do these things, you will not find those individuals come in there and be in there for you when you got some psychological issues going on. When you want to talk to them, hey, I'm feeling a little depressed today. I'm feeling a little down today. Hey, I want to talk about the decision that I made. I'm a little torn up about it. You will not find them at all. They're going to send you to somebody that don't care about you, that don't even know you. All they know is that you made a terrible decision. Yes. And we're going to hit on this a little bit more, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to Cities 92.9, the news and talk of liberty normal. We will be right back after this break. All right, folks, don't forget to hit that like button so this video can be recommended within the YouTube world. You guys hear me all right, Lethal?
So Ty, because he's got the YouTube audience, what he does is play his actualities through his speakers, and this is how he does it. So that's mic 3. So you would pull up mic 3, and you want to have that on. I don't have it on the whole time because you'll get echoey.
Uncle Wallingford, yes, there will be a link to call in.
It gets a little yelly, and I pointed out. You want it kind of bouncing in the orange a little bit. That's where you want it all the time when he's talking. It's bouncing by the orange.
I had trouble seeing those clothes even really change. But okay.
You're gonna go out there. Be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you.
All these red lights
So what are you gonna do?
are for
You're
programming.
gonna go grocery shopping.
Biological
Those red lights are really good.
therefore become
Really missing.
Like,
Uterus may have differences
um,
between men and women.
SNAP should always look like this. Program audio.
Our XX chromosome and male are XY chromosome.
If you
Can't believe it's necessary to say this,
recording on
but men cannot get pregnant and cannot get birth.
you don't want
For an
the
abortion in your statement, you said, quote, abortion bans are rationalized through abortion to eliminate their future generations.
Care for this world has ever seen.
That's just old.
It's tough.
That's fine. If you're a monitor, you always want to monitor like during program.
Appreciate y'all chapping in here, folks.
Monitor for algorithm.
I will give a link here.
You just want to make sure.
Let's see. Are you Uncle Wallingford? Are you trying to call in? I can post a link right here. Give me a second here. Here is the link to join.
So you just kind of pull it up. Usually he gets it right on the second, and you don't even have to click.
63 Americans a day die by gun suicide. By storing our guns safely, locked, loaded, and away from ammo.
If you do join on to the panel, remember, try not to cuss, because we'll get fined for that. Try not to cuss. Also, when you come on, I will most likely see you in the green room and all that good stuff like that. And there are random commercial breaks during this. I'm just letting you guys know that, all right? For some of you that want to join on. Yeah, Red. Every about I'll say every probably 2 minutes or so like that. Every 2 minutes, repost that link for me.
This is his end bump. So I put this in here to let me know that this is the last segment. Cancel this end bump.
You said, quote, abortion bans are inherently racist, inherently classist, and fundamentally part of the bans are inherent.
Yes, I do. So this is the one that starts. Watch. You'll see once we get down in there, because there's two bumpers.
Be a part of a healthy blood pressure movement. Rally your squad to take the online pledge at releasethepressure.org. Brought to you by the Release the Pressure Coalition and the Ad Council.
Morning Buzz with Cat Peterson is your
So you
hometown
see,
conservative
there's
show
an end
that
bump,
knows
and then
inflation
there's
money
That's
is
the name of the show. I
important
keep
to you.
reading
That's
this.
why
You're saying
every Friday at 7, you can catch the Financial Friday feature.
Financial Friday.
he starts really quick. And I fade this down because this is music.
What's going on, Bloomington Normal? I am Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man, and you're listening to my show, Cancel This. The phone number here is 309-451-9299. You can also text the show at 309-451-9299. And if you would like to see me live in the studio where I can interact with you, you interact with me via internet, then go onto YouTube, type in Modern Renaissance Man. You will see a thumbnail or a picture for you older folks, I'm just saying, that will show me live on the air. Click on that picture, and once you click on that, you will see me live in the studio looking you dead in your eyes. You can't see me, but I can see you. I'm just joking, folks. Anyway, by you doing that, you can jump on and interact with me. I can interact with you, and the people of Bloomington Normal will be able to hear your call, and we can hear people from all over the world should they decide to go ahead and jump on and let their voices be heard. So before we took the break, you guys heard the little clip that I played with the Mr. Clyde questioning Dr. Kumar about his thoughts on if a biological man can give birth. And it's so sad, the answer that this doctor gave by saying biological men and trans men can give birth. Absolutely ludicrous, folks. The fact that this is even going around is just kind of scary, because what you find out is that you will see a lot of people are being pandered to. Their mental illness is being pandered to. A lot of things that is considered immoral is now being pandered to. Pedophiles will one day not even be able to get called pedophiles. They'll just be called, like they're trying to say, minor attracted person. They're trying to make it sound real sweet and innocent. They're not pedophiles. They're not pedos. They're just minorly attracted person, right? That's what they're doing. What am I saying that for? Now you have it to where they're actually putting a social construct in for people to have mental illness, and they're pandering to it. You literally going to sit there and tell me that a grown man with a prostate, penis, testicles can get pregnant. And then they got upset at me because I went in on these fools. Because, ladies and gentlemen, Bloomington Normal right now, if you got some children listening, if y'all are in the car, I'm sorry, but if you are like at home, you might want to tell your children to leave the room a little bit, because I'm going to say something that's going to be a little disgusting to what they're also doing. Okay, so by the time I get done saying this sentence right here, your child should be out of the room. Tell them to run right now. Bye, child. Bye. Okay, so what they're doing, they have these little rubber prosthesis shaped like an infant child. They are telling men, oh my God, they are telling men to stick these things up their rectum, hold it there now, and then they want them to push it out so these men can experience what it's like to have a baby. Don't believe me, folks. Y'all know how I am. I tell y'all, don't believe me. Go on the internet and look it up right now. The Hodge twins are definitely killing it on this. They are wanting you grown men, biological men, to stick this orb up your butt and then pretty much push it back out. Yeah, I know. I can see y'all faces right now. Y'all all like, what in the world? Why would I do that when I have something that large coming out of me naturally because you got a bad diet? No, but seriously, this is where we are right now. And people are buying into it. You have people on there on TikTok celebrating, oh my goodness, I'm going to be able to know what it's like to have a baby. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm going to know what it's like to be in labor. Oh my God, I'm going to be able to definitely relate to it. Even though I'm a man and I think I'm a woman, I'm going to relate to it. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait. That's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. These are the type of things that I'm talking about. People with psychological issues are being pandered to. They are being pandered to. Why are we pandering to these people's mental illness? And then when they turn around and go crazy, commit suicide, we want to, we need to look out for, people. We need to make sure we look out for individuals here, guys. Mental illness is an issue, guys. Folks, you're listening to Cities 92.9 and News and Talk of Bloomington Normal. The phone number here is 309-451-9299. You can text the show at that same number. You can also chime in via internet, which I see some people in the green room here, and you, Bloomington Normal, are going to be able to hear from people all over the world, which we have some callers on right now. We're going to address the first caller right here, and it is Mr. Reckless Ray. Reckless Ray, how you doing, sir?
Good to be on with you, brother. How are you doing?
Likewise. You've been hearing everything I've been talking about thus far, sir.
For the past couple of days, yes.
Let the audience know where you're chiming in from.
Kansas City.
Kansas City. What part? Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas?
Kansas City, Kansas. We just recently bought a place over here at the beginning of the pandemic because of the city tax that Kansas City has.
Wow. Okay. Nice. So,
yep.
Yeah, I'm familiar with you, sir. What do you think about? I mean, you can jump in on any part that I've talked about and let me know what you think on it.
This is literally the wildest, most insane, and one of the scariest things that you've actually brought to my attention. Like, there are certain things that you bring that I'm like, contextually, I could see like how something could get to this, but this specifically is insane. Like, I watched it with my chick. Because I worked in mental health for 6 years, and she's still in mental health for the county. And I watched it with her, and we were both just jaw dropped. Like, there was nothing to be said about it. It's just like, this is so wrong. Like, when you start restructuring society like this, like, it doesn't work.
No.
And like I was telling her, I was like, the only reason that we have the privilege, and yes, it's a privilege, of functioning in the way that we do as a society, with the way that we're just placating, everything has to be fair, everyone gets a trophy, is because we have an ocean barrier between us and toxic masculinity of countries that are actually run by real men. Otherwise,
say it again for the people in the back. They didn't hear you.
The only reason we have the privilege of functioning in the way that we do on this continent is because and let me add to it, is because to the north of us, we have softer men than we have here. And to the south of us, they are so busy fighting amongst themselves that they don't have the time to come up here and take our stuff. We have an ocean between us and the rest of the world that is run by actual men who take things. Because, I mean, otherwise, if any other country, if you put us next to any of the Middle Eastern countries that we get to go over and play fight with and then come back over here to safety, they would look over and be like, hey, they're letting their women run everything. Matter of fact, we're going to go take everything. And guess what? It's about to be Clap City over there. We're going to show them what men are. Like, that's the only reason we get to do this. And like, people don't understand that, but it's like at a certain point, even though we have that buffer amongst ourselves, it's not going to be enough because you're starting to get that pushback. Like, you're starting to have men go, hey, like something's got to give here.
Yep.
Like, and for me, honestly, if this isn't a glaring something, then we need to at least dial back and have some conversations. Because since we've had this administration in that was supposed to save everybody, only one group of people have been saved.
Yep.
And all they're doing is taking power.
Yep.
And that's basically what it is. And the way that they're doing that is through our women.
I mean, even to the extent to where they're making men want to turn into that very thing as a woman.
Right.
What do you think? No, come on, Reckless Ray, tell the truth. You know you can get pregnant.
Bruh. I want those STEMI checks. I want that support, bro. I want WIC. Like, give me my stuff then, bro. Like, I mean, it's just it's so asinine, but it's a power play because, like, and I hate to say this because it sounds very callous, but there's more women than men. So if they're not dealing with the men anymore, they're attacking policy through the women. And the issue with the society that we have right now is women tilt towards fairness. Men know from the get-go that stuff is just not fair. Yes. It's not. Women want everything to be fair. The issue is you can't run a society with everything being fair. Someone's got to move the chairs.
No.
That's just the reality of the situation.
Right.
And until we get, like, you have to have both because, like, obviously if it's just I don't want to live in the Middle East. But I want like a hybrid of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want it to have a certain line, but then like after a certain line, we need to be like, hey, we have a standard. Yes. And right now we have no standard, and they're just pushing that envelope, and they keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And that's the problem that we're having right now is that, like, how far are we pushing this? Because, like, we're down the hill. Yep. And, like, I mean, I remember when I first started taking an interest in politics, I used to get real triggered by Ben Shapiro and his statements on the slippery slope. And now we're down the slippery slope, and I got to be like, man, I got to eat all those words I do was right. Because we're rolling. Yeah. We are rolling down the slope now. It's like now after those things that he said, I mean, a lot of people didn't care for him, like you just said, but then at the same time, you're like, okay, wait a minute. What he's saying is right. You know, he's dead on. And you don't mind, Reckless Ray, let me I'm gonna take a call right here. You can stay right there where you are, but I'm gonna take this real quick. Caller, you on Season 92.9. Hey, how you doing, George? Go ahead. Can you turn the earphones on? Uh-huh.
Sweet.
Up. So what happened to Isaiah, his kid? You guys started the Muslim party. So you got Muslims killing people all over the world because of Sarah. It's nothing new. and you want to stop abortion, I'm going to make a T-shirt with a beautiful set of legs with a mini skirt up at the top, legs across with high heels. It says, "Stop abortion. Keep your legs crossed."
Yep.
You know, that's all. And I get tired of it. I have white privilege. Yeah, I'm 79 years old and I'm still working. Where's my privilege, man? Is that the privilege
Well,
I have?
George,
I don't
you know,
have
they took your white privilege card, George, because you lived amongst black people, so they revoked it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I got along. You want to know something? I got along with all the blacks a lot better than I do these white people. These crackers, whatever.
The new breed?
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you something. I live with 10 times as many blacks as Obama ever did. All white men are born with hatred in their heart. Really? You were raised by your white grandparents because your mother left you.
Mm.
And then he blames his father, the black man. And his father didn't leave the wife. She left him. That come out in another book. And then she didn't leave. She left him for an Indonesian guy who's a Muslim.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, and with that being said, George, if you don't mind, because we're coming up on a break right here, stay on the line for me, bro, and we'll bring you right back in, sir, okay? So stay put for me, George. Folks, you're listening to Cities 92.9 and Dudes Are Talking Bloomington Normal. We are coming up on a break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, I see y'all all out there in the green room, all up here. I see you guys all up on my screen right now. So, when George get off the line, I'll go to Mr. Charles, then I'll go to Mr. Mo, then I'll go to Jenny, and then we'll just kind of go from there. But as y'all can see right now, being on the radio is a little different than being like straight on YouTube where we can just kind of talk in and out. They got commercial breaks and all that stuff on here. So, yeah, appreciate y'all all coming on and all that good stuff. See if there's anybody else that was in the background here. Nope, there go Jenny. We got Mo, Reckless Ray, Charles. Okay. So sorry y'all got to bear through some of these commercials. I don't know.
Wherever they went, they were ready for anything. And hey, speaking of being ready, when you call those childers kids when your garage door isn't working right, you can count on them having the parts they need to fix your problem in one visit. Some companies charge you to figure out the problem. Then they charge you to go back to their shop and get the right parts. Then they charge you to go back and put it in. That can be pretty expensive. Whenever your garage door isn't doing the old up-down, remember these numbers, 827-3222. You'll still be reaching a
whenever George was talking, was George too loud?
Or repair any door and garage door
Okay.
on the market.
Just the commercials. Okay, I got y'all.
Kids, they're always up to something. For more information on Profiat Doors and Windows, call Childers Door Service or open their website.
I mean, I just took it off like that because once George get back on, it stays at the same volume. I'll just.
I'm Flynn, and I'm the owner of Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
Don't forget YouTube's. If you guys are in here chiming in, don't forget to hit that like button so the video can be recommended. Appreciate it. I'm gonna move some stuff around right here, and
Girls really played a big part in our life in changing our eating habits, our lifestyle. We're more focused on each other.
Take control of your health. Located in Bloomington, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping begins Saturday, October 8th. Several class times available. Enroll at extremebodyshaping.com.
Basically, they're on hold right here.
Conversations you're having, we just do it on the radio. Chandler and Swan, Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. with an encore at 5, brought to you by North Outdoor Power on Cities 92.9.
what's going on, Bloomington Normal? I am Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man, and you're listening to my show, Cancel This. The phone number here is 309-451-9299. Again, 309-451-9299. And you can text the show at 309-451-9299. If you would like to see me live in the studio where I can interact with you, you interact with me, then go onto YouTube, type in Modern Renaissance Man in the search, and you will see a thumbnail, aka a picture of me being live on the air. Click on that picture. You will see me live in the studio looking you dead in your eyes. Hungry eyes. No. What you can do also, you will be able to chime in and let your voice be heard as well by clicking on a link that will be provided by my moderator. So before we took the break, we had the infamous George online, and we're going to go right back to him. George, sir, you still there?
No, I'm not here. Yes, I am. You know, and it's like that kid down there in Texas that killed the 19 children.
Mm-hmm.
I'd put this kid in an institution. This kid grew up with a mother who was an alcoholic and his father was a drug addict, or vice versa. He had a bad foundation to start with. Now he goes to school, and that's the only hope you got for most kids in society from a bad family is school. And they don't even teach good anymore. That school is teaching this kid that he's not a boy, he's not a girl. So this guy's got makeup on, People cut their arms and legs so nobody sees it. This guy cuts his face, 19 years old, whatever he was. He's got makeup on, lipstick on. He doesn't know if he's a boy or a girl. If I was the parents, I see Smith & Wesson yesterday in the Pantograph being sued by people down getting shot. Okay, and then Remington sent $75 million they had to pay out for somebody being shot. That gun can lay on the table with the hammer back for 200 years. Unless there's an earthquake and it falls off the table, that gun will never go off. A gun is just a tool. I could sit here and give you a dozen really easy ones to do, but I won't tell you because I don't want somebody taking them. The ideas and using them. But the gun has nothing to do with it. This kid didn't. There wasn't. The gun did something else. People raise their kids to be independent. You told a kid, I don't love you. Why do you think they have suicide rate with 14 to 19-year-olds? It's unreal. What the hell are you men at? You talk about men. Where are you men? You're out with some other woman because you're not home with your wife and kids. You got 80% of the black men in the country, 85% in 1880 used to be with their wives.
Yep.
Today, you got 13%.
That's right.
That young man, his father should be there with him and the daughters. Why are we having so much abortions at everybody? Black, white, doesn't make a difference. Why? Because there's no dads to instruct their daughter. You got sons. You do a heck of a job. I know your whole family. But when you have a daughter, now you really got problems. You have to instruct her what to watch for. I tell my daughters, don't believe nothing some guy says to you. All these guys are lying. Okay? They only want one thing. You know, be what you are now the day you're born when you get married. You think no miles on a car is different than 200,000 miles? You're wrong if you think it doesn't count. And I tell them, you know, like this kid that shot those kids. He was programmed. I wouldn't sue the gun manufacturer, whoever it was. I'd sue the school. I would sue the school board, and I would sue the teachers. Every curriculum. What do you teach? Oh, okay, you're good. You're going to get sued. They got these little kids out here. 11-year-old girl gets her boobs cut off. What boobs? She ain't got no boobs. Look over tits. You know, 19. I'm reading my epic paper 2 weeks ago. 15-year-old girl gets them cut off. Now she's 18. She's finally found out the truth of who she is. Guy sees a guy at the airport, military guy, come back with one arm missing. He finds a doctor, cuts it off. What is wrong with these doctors?
Exactly.
I have no respect. Think about this. I'm Greek. Hippocratic oath is do no harm. The short verses of it. What do no harm? These doctors have killed 70 million unborn children. Are they doing any harm? Oh, let me think so. Adolf Hitler spent 7 years passing Nuremberg laws to kill the people. I'm not talking about morally. He spent laws to kill the people he killed. 7 million. The Democrats passed the law 2 years, and they've killed 70 million. You're not going to get no Social Security. Why is that, Ty? Because there's nobody here to pay. 70 million potential taxpayers to pay taxes for the first 20 years, 73 to 30, 90, 93. Okay, that's the average 20 years going one way or the other, a couple of years to go to work. So now for 28 years, all that money would be paid in. What money? There is no money. And these people walk around. When you vote for people that are hurting people, I told my wife in 73, they're going to kill babies. Who do you think's next? Old people. They're going to play hell getting me, buddy. You know that. You got to come and get me, you know? And so, but yeah, and what are we doing to our kids? Where are these fathers at? My father was 54 years old when I was born.
The fathers are busy getting pregnant.
Oh, yeah. I want to, like that congresswoman said, a man can get pregnant. You know, you always say, if you think that's easy, a woman will say, try and get a watermelon out through that, you know. My mother weighed 15 pounds when she was born. My grandmother never walked right after that, 15 pounds, you know. But try and get that out of that little urination hole. Oh, that's got to hurt.
Yeah, it's not going to work. Absolutely not. Hey, George, we got some other callers online, sir. Really appreciate you calling in. We want to give them their shot at doing it, too. You know we love hearing from you, the infamous George.
Well, one of these days, you're going to have to teach me how to get online with you, man.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no problem with that at all, George. It's easy. You'll like it this way, too. Matter of fact, if I remember, George, use your phone, George. Probably, let's say around 5:15 is call me.
Okay.
All right?
Tell your beautiful wife and your sons I said hello.
Always, George. All right, we'll talk to you later, sir. All right, folks, you know what that is. Just the infamous George, who has been down with us since day one, coming in, no holds barred, don't care about anybody's feelings, will tell you straight like it is. George. All right, so we're gonna go on to the next caller here, Mr. Charles. I think it is. Who we're gonna bring on, and we'll see what Mr. Charles has to say. Mr. Charles, how you doing, sir?
Oh, good, good. It's good to be back. I talked to you a couple weeks ago. I can't remember.
I know exactly who you are, sir. I remember the stories and everything.
Yeah, it was. You definitely remember the stories.
Yes, man.
Well, what I was going to say, this is getting really scary because what Reckless Ray was talking about, having these we need to figure something out and have these conversations. But what they're doing is they're making it so we can have the conversations because we're taking the definitions and changing them.
Mm-hmm.
We can't have true meaning for these words. That's when they bring these things. What's a man? What's a woman? Now there's the problem. Now that they can put in anything they want to, and that's the scary, scary part. And it's absolutely frightening that they. I'm not sure who's behind this, but this is getting absolutely scary to our words not having real definition.
No. I mean, you're talking about like now they can't even define what a woman is. I mean, when you there, that's an issue. When we at a point to where, like, I don't know if you were already on when I played the clip of them asking Dr. Kumar.
Yes.
If a man can have I mean, what in the world? And this is a doctor who, when you go through the medical portion of schooling, we get taught. You already taught the fundamentals of, the body and biology while you're in high school, but then we go off into the medical portion of school. We get taught gross anatomy. We go down to the very T of DNA and everything, RNA. I mean, we get down to the basics of nucleotides and everything. And for them to actually be able to get on there and say that, man, it's flat out messed up. I'm surprised, like, that it's not even like considered like malpractice, because a doctor is not supposed to lie to you. A doctor can be sued for lying to you. If you go in with a condition and the doctor purposely and willfully tell you that you have something that you don't, that is malpractice. So for him to say that men can get pregnant along with trans men, that should already be okay. We need to go ahead and review this dude's license.
It's dangerous. It's absolutely dangerous. And I really mean those words, dangerous, as you were hitting to the point with pedophilia. They're trying to slowly get that into being normalized. And then we're in trouble, but we're already in trouble. But it is really getting absolutely frightening and scary that people aren't waking up and saying this okay, because the problem, we need to have left-leaning people, Democrats saying, wait, whoa, wait a minute, what happened? That's the problem too. We can't just do it all alone on the right side, on the Republican side, on the conservative side. We need to have liberals and everybody else say, wait a minute, time out.
Right. And see, here's the problem though. If we do that, that means that we're going to be united, and they don't want that. So Charles, stay right there where you are. So we're getting ready to take a break right here. We will be right back on you folks. You're listening to Cities 92.9. The news is talking Bloomington Normal. Be right back. We got you, Charles. We'll be bringing you right on back, sir. Don't worry.
I don't know if it was like that before, Ty, but that last segment of every hour, it's going to jump. It's going to say that you got like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's what it was doing.
And then it's going to jump to with this new system. I want to make sure that segment, the fourth segment, has enough time in it so it doesn't like mess up the whole timing of the 5 o'clock hour. So what it's going to do, it's going to jump, but once you hear that music, you've got 50 seconds to wrap up your segment.
Gotcha. Was there
it'll jump at 59? So it's like not the entire 5 minutes, but it'll jump once that music hits.
Right. Gotcha.
I just don't want to time it out and then have that be too short and then have dead air for the rest of it's a weird thing. The new system makes you put in 10-minute segments, otherwise it's like not gonna work.
Okay. Yeah, long as you
the music, you got 50 seconds after that music starts.
But you can stop within that 50 seconds though. I mean, like if I ended it early within that 50 seconds, that's good though.
Yep.
Okay. Cool beans. So we get ready to go into the 4 o'clock show after this, right? That's what we're going into.
Yeah, the 4 o'clock hour.
That first hour flew. Oh my gosh.
A lot of callers too. That's good.
Was there somebody still? There was a caller on the line. A caller.
There was another one, but I think they had left.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't put the call.
Oh, no big deal.
If I knew it was George, I probably wouldn't have. He brought me flowers the other day.
He bought you flowers, George? Then wow.
He's going through a divorce, or like not a divorce, but like a separation.
Yeah, it's kind of. Long dog. The reason why there's no audio because I didn't want you to hear it.
Come on, man. I don't go for this. Like, what's the fucking point?
Jenny.
So if I hit,
we heard you.
I don't want to hit jump right now.
Some you want to get off your chest.
Let Jenny go if she wants to go. Wow, what was that?
Hold on, before we go back, Jenny.
Let Jenny go.
Jenny, what was that all? Jenny. Oh, don't get quiet.
I just hate computers. Okay. It never works the way I want. Sorry, I don't mean to be rude. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just wondering. Oh, so
I'm just telling you that no computer ever does what I want. That's all.
But we can hear you clear as day.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we heard you say, "What's the effing point?"
Oh my God, I'm talking as loud as I can. I hate computers.
Yo, you don't have to talk loud. You sound good though. We thought that you were saying, "What's the effing point?" Like as if you were saying, "What's the effing point in waiting?" Like, or you saying, "What were you saying, Jenny? Huh? You busted." Jenny, I'm talking to you. Why aren't you talking back? Jenny?
Well, let me tell you something. At least you're not hearing me sing. Hearing me swear.
Will cost us
saying that I can't work with computers, but I will say that hearing me swear is better than hearing me sing.
Well, I don't know, because if you sing while you're on the air on the radio station, it don't cost us $100,000 per cuss word. But no, right now we're on commercial break though, Jenny. So you okay being patient though, right? Because I'm gonna hit Charles, and I'm gonna hit Mo, and we're gonna get you. Jenny, there's a delay reaction. Jenny.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh.
You sure you're gonna be able to talk on air? Because you're delaying like about 10 seconds.
Patience is one of my best virtues. Ha!
Ah, yes. So says the woman who said, "What's the effing point?" No, let me quit messing with you. I'm joking. But no, did you hear me when I say we're gonna go to Charles, Mode, and you? And then I'm just gonna, after that, I'm just gonna kind of open it up. Perhaps we won't be going to you, Jenny.
I'm sorry. Oh.
Jenny, have you drank something? Charles, exactly.
Oh my God, am I banned?
Jenny, what is going on with you? Can you hear words that are coming out of my mouth?
Why would you say that? That's awful.
Your actions and
words. Oh my God, you know what?
Hold on. I gotta completely take you out for a second because you're gonna blurt out something, and we're about to go on.
Oh boy.
Here we go. What's going on, Bloomington Normal? I am Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man, and you're listening to my show, Cancel This. The phone number here is 309-451-9299. You can text the show at 309-451-9299. If you would like to see me live in the studio where I can interact with you, you interact with me, go onto YouTube, type in Modern Renaissance Man, and you will see a thumbnail, aka a tab or a picture that shows me being live on the air. Click on that and you will see me live in the studio where you can interact with me by clicking on the link. All right. So before we took the break, we had Mr. Charles Wallingford online, and we're gonna let him finish out his thoughts on this. We were talking about just the overall issues that's going on today with people changing the definition of something. They're making things that are completely odd and wrong and immoral. They're making it a right by way of social construct. So Charles, you can go ahead and continue on with your thoughts, sir.
Oh, one of the things, the gentleman who called in early, he always calls in.
George.
The only thing I can see to way to fight this is actually having a family. Getting together and having a family to fight it. Have a family, get married, have a loving relationship. I think one of the issues that makes this so easily done, we were talking about abortion, which I feel a little weird about abortion. I feel both ways about abortion. But you're not going to have these things if we have a loving relationship and you have the mother teaching her part, the father teaching his part. But when you only have one side, it leaves you vulnerable to everything else that comes about.
I agree. I think that's one of the reasons why, like I said, it's and to be quite honest with you, it seemed like everything is going towards, like you guys were talking about earlier, going towards a feminine way, like what Reckless was saying, like it's going towards everything, all women. And I mean, and what's crazy about this is that already we all talk about how, like George made a comment and say, 80% of men were married to their wife, of course, married to their wife. They were married, they were in the home in the late 1800s. And now where we at right now, it's completely flipped. Now only about 12%, 13% of black men are in the home and married with their kids, whatever. It's the complete opposite. So everybody know that affirmative action had a huge impact on that. And what's amazing to that is that people say things like, oh, they want to remove the father from the home with that. But now it seemed like they're like, okay, we definitely want it. That's not enough. Having 12% of black men being married now, it's like they want all of them. So now let's make everything feminine. And if you notice, and I mean, I don't care what anybody says, I don't know of any race that are pushing their men to be feminine than they are with black men. If I always tell this to people, I say, name more than 5 shows that the leading actor was a male acting as a woman. The first thing that people say is Mrs. Doubtfire. Then after that, they're like, but if you sat there and said with black men, they're gonna be like, oh, Big Mama's House, Medea, Tu Wong. I mean, they're gonna name off all these other shows that's leading black men that dress like women and playing a leading role as that. And it's amazing because it's heavily pushed, and not only that, it's heavily praised. I mean, they're so flamboyant with the stuff, man. It's sickening. I'm not calling low folks, YouTube, Bloomington Normal. I'm not saying that the people are disgusting when I say sick. I'm talking about the agenda itself is sickening when they're trying to really push it on the black community. Big time, flamboyant like nobody's business.
Tyler Perry is one of the enemies of the state, for real. He is the one that bothered me. I saw this coming a long time ago, and people didn't understand why I really truly could not stand Tyler Perry, and I don't watch any of his movies. He always shows men as bumbling idiots, as not being leaders, as not having any intestinal fortitude whatsoever, and it caused a ripple effect along the lines. And this is part of it. This is what is coming, because Tyler Perry is mainstream.
Yep.
Tyler Perry is very popular, and it doesn't start and end with black people. It goes into everybody else who watch this mainstream thing. And that is a serious problem. And I have a serious problem with anything he puts out to go along with it. Because what it is we're making a little hole, and then they're exploiting that hole and making it larger and larger.
It's like treating the ulcer. You know, they just letting it become bigger and bigger. And like what you just said right there, I used to say this to my wife all the time. I said, man, you guys are not seeing the big picture. Like after, you see the first play, Diary Mad Black Woman. I'm like, okay, ha ha ha, hee hee ho ho. Then you see the second one and the third one. I'm like, man, wait a minute. After a while, like the men that I grew up around, we're like, oh, do y'all not seeing what he's doing right here? Why is he making a woman being like the head authoritative figure in there, and all these other men, like you say, they all soft and weak, and if they're not, they're cheating, they're no good. Why is Medea is physically whooping these men as an old woman? So not only is it putting in people's subconscious that this older woman is supposed to be the authoritative figure and she's supposed to be stronger, but then almost everybody that he has in there that's supposed to have if any type of importance, they always seem to be women. Don't get me wrong, love her to death, Cicely Tyson. He had Maya Angelou in there, but you didn't see him having Morgan Freeman. He didn't go after nobody like that. He didn't go after Denzel Washington. He didn't go after nobody like that. He always seemed to want these strong so-called women or women of historical, value. He wants them in there. And again, they are the leaders of the family. They are the heads of the family and not these men.
Where's Medea's husband?
Exactly. Mr. Brown. She had an affair with Mr. Brown, but give me a second real quick. We have somebody that's calling in actually up to the station. You're on season 2.9. Caller. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Mike in Florida. Follow you on YouTube, and I figured I'd give you a call. I think it was Ray who earlier in the conversation mentioned the slippery slope that Ben Shapiro used to talk about when it comes to, the gender roles.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is absolutely true. It also goes into the LGBTQ agenda. I watch your channel. You react to a lot of stuff. Are you really tied into pop culture, like in particular, like Disney and the MCU and the DCEU, that stuff?
I wouldn't say that deep.
Okay, well, yesterday I live in hurricane country, so I couldn't sleep during the storm. I got up, put on HBO Max, and the new animated Disney movie was on, DC League of Super Pets.
Mm-hmm.
You heard of it?
I've heard of it.
The Rock and Kevin Hart playing superpowered dogs.
They're the dogs. Yeah.
Like them both, right? So I started watching this movie. Within the first 5 minutes, the dogs around a tree are having a conversation about what happens when your owner gets a significant other. And one dog says, yeah, when my owner, Susan, met her partner, Jane, things changed. In the first 5 minutes of a children's animated movie, they pushed a lesbian couple. Now, this lesbian couple didn't appear in the rest of the movie. It was just there for the agenda to put that thought in some poor kid's head. And why? It's everywhere, dude. It was in Lightyear, right?
Yeah.
It was in Eternals. In the comics, Iceman is gay. Superman's gay. I think Robin's gay now.
Yep.
I don't understand. I understand why they're doing it. It's the same thing that ideological regimes have done throughout history. You control the culture and you change the people. This is what the Nazis did. This is what the communists did. This is what the Muslims do in their theocracies. This is a plan. It's a plan to emasculate all men because, I see there are very few positive representations of black men in the media. You guys are talking about how all black actors or comics have to go in drag, something Dave Chappelle addressed in his interview, because we've seen it with Jamie Foxx, Oscar winner, but he was a girl in his show. Remember that? When he played LaWanda, right? Martin Lawrence has been a woman. Ving Rhames has been a drag queen.
Yep.
Wesley Snipes. It's across the board. Wesley Snipes. But when it comes to I'm a white Southern man, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are no positive representations of me in the media. None. When's the last time you saw a heroic, admirable white Southern man in the media?
None, unless they're a country singer.
Right? And even then, country singers, nobody looks at country singers anymore, now that the greats are dead, as these great artists, right? They're just a bunch of, himbos and morons singing about Fireball whiskey and dirt roads and truck tailgates.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing admirable there. We're all treated like toothless morons. So black men are effeminated. White Southern men are toothless morons, and all other men on TV are subservient idiots who don't know as much as their wives.
Woo-wee. Hey, please do me a favor. Do me a favor. You have to call back in, okay? Like,
all right.
When we have another segment that comes on, like on Saturdays, please call back in and let me know exactly who you are. Like, hey, this is me from Florida, Ty, and I know exactly who you are.
Sure, buddy. But just know, man, there is an agenda. It's out there on purpose to weaken us and make us. This is about making everybody less capable of standing up against a totalitarian regime. If you can make every young man fat, addicted to video games, scared of women, or gay, they're not going to fight the government.
Absolutely. You are 100% right. Hey, appreciate you calling in. We would love to hear from you again, man. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. I'm enjoying your show. Thanks a lot.
Likewise. Shout out to the caller right there all the way from Florida. Continue to pray for them, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming upon a break, and we will be right back. You're listening to Cities 92.9 and News and Talk of Bloomington Normal.
Cities 92.9's dependable weather from WMBD.
All right, when we come back, I'll get you back on, Mr. Mo, and then we'll kind of open it up a little bit. Jenny, I'm scared of what I don't know what's going on with you, girl. I can't even, hold on, give me a second, Jenny. Give me a second to bring you on real quick. Jenny, is your audio good now?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Why are you? Well, that's terrible. You sound like I'm some kind of maniac. But I have two computers on. I got to turn off one of them. There we go. I'm not really good with this computer stuff, as you may have noticed. But the things that I did want to say is.
Wait, Jenny, we're not ready yet.
Turn. Okay.
Well, what it is that we're on commercial break right now.
Oh.
So whenever we come back from commercial break, I'm gonna let Mo. Mo, are you driving? I'm not going to be responsible for your death, sir. No, I'm just joking. I'm messing with you, Mo. No, I'm talking to Mo right now. Give me a second, Jenny. I'm going to bring Mo back on. I'm messing with you, Mo. Mo, do a sound check for me. Just say hello to everybody.
Hello.
All right, you sound good. So when we come back on, Mo, I'll bring you right back in, and we'll go right into it.
And then you make a left.
Yeah. It's up to you.
Let's see here. All right, what we have going on. So I'm gonna go over here, click this, click that. Don't worry about it, folks. I'm just doing some online stuff right to make sure we flowing smoothly, and we got internet is going good. No slow stream, so YouTube don't try to lie and make it seem like I'm having some type of complications. Okay, there we go. Look at Mo ramming up that Lamborghini. All right, here we go. Yes, real quick, I'm gonna be mute for a second here, folks. So give me a sec.
Take your time.
What's going on, Bloomington Normal? I am Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man, and you're listening to my show, Cancel This. The phone number here is 309-451-9299. You can text the show at 309-451-9299. If you would like to see me live in the studio, go onto YouTube, type in Modern Renaissance Man, and when you do, you will see a icon, a thumbnail, or a picture of me being live on the air. I can interact with you. You can interact with me. You can actually click a link and chime in, let your voice be heard across Bloomington Normal and across the rest of the world that is tuning in here. So shout out to the caller just called in from Florida. And again, make sure you guys have some prayers out for them down there because they just got devastated by one of the top 5 hurricanes to ever hit. And just make sure you keep them in your prayers. And so you guys, we've been discussing a whole lot on this channel thus far, from the abortion, this doctor making a ridiculous statement saying that men can get pregnant and trans men can get pregnant, et cetera, et cetera. And it's sad that this is a medical doctor. And this medical doctor also made statements saying that anybody that's trying to prohibit anyone from getting an abortion, you know, trying to discourage them from getting an abortion, all of them is racist, is of white supremacy, et cetera, et cetera. So those are some of the things that we were talking about. And with that being said, we had someone else that wants to chime in on here named Mo. Mo, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Ty. How you doing today?
Good, always good. Mo, can I ask you a question real quick?
What's up?
You sound like a man, and from my visual, you actually look like a man. You are a man, right?
I am a man.
Okay, Mo, can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
How many times have you attempted to get pregnant?
No. Men cannot get pregnant. Like let me reiterate that fact again. Let me say it again for the people in the back. Men cannot get pregnant. I'm going to say that for the last time.
Hey, Mo, I got a question too, and I'll let you get your thoughts out there. Would you like a bean booty stuffing infant prosthetic to stuff up yourself and be able to push it back out so you can experience what it's like to have a baby?
Oh, no. Like, that sounds nasty. Oh.
Well, hey, it's out there, Mo. It's out there. Let me quit messing with you, Mo. Mo, what are your thoughts on all this that we've been talking about? I mean, you can shoot from any angle.
Well, first and foremost, I don't know what's up with Dr. Kumar. He needs to go hang out with Harold and get some White Castle for all we know. But anyways, I'm going to go off on Planned Parenthood mainly because Planned Parenthood is so despicable and it's rooted in racism. Anyone that supports Planned Parenthood is basically a racist, in my humble opinion, because it disproportionately affects minorities. It affects Black people. It affects Hispanic people. And these Planned Parenthood centers are only in minority communities. They're not in the rich white liberal communities at all. And I hate that these anti-racists like Cori Bush, AOC, even the mayor in Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, that want to support this stuff. And, you know, I called in, I think last week and said how, you know, some people want to call you a Tom, a sellout, and stuff like that. Could I say the same thing about Cori Bush? Could I say the same thing about Lori Lightfoot? Because they do not want to see the Black community basically succeed. They don't want to see them reproduce. They don't want to see them repopulate. And I think that is the problem. Like, these people want to have this identity politics and say, I'm pro blackity blackback, but yet you are pro killing Black babies. How does that make any sense? It does not make any sense to me. And, you know, for all these people that want to be anti-racist and stuff like that, this is a message I have for you. You guys are the real racists. Leave us alone. Let us handle our business, because we need to take an accountability for ourselves. We need to stop this whole abortion thing. Now, I can understand, you know, if you've been raped or incest, but there's a day after pill. And I think that's another problem, that we're victim shaming. What we're doing is telling the victims that it's their fault that they got raped. It's their fault that the incest happened, which it isn't. So we have to start encouraging people to speak up instead of being silent.
Absolutely, 100%, Mo. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Hey, yeah, good points right there. You're getting a lot of people that's off there into the chat saying, you know, that you're on point. They like what you're saying right there. So we're going to try to see if we can move on to actually a real female that's on here. Well, where did she go?
Where did she go?
Okay, let me see if I can bring a female on here. Jenny, are you still there?
Hi. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're on the air, Jenny. So no cussing.
We'll
send the bill to you.
You know that computers and I are enemies. But okay, first of all, I have a challenge for you, Ty. Okay, now obviously this chat has already been started. This is my challenge. Do you think you could set up a chat where the rules are that no one can refer to the other and just refer to the positive? I'm just curious, because I'm an historian, and I think that we get so lost on debating and bickering and this and that. And we're never going to build bridges this way. And honestly, I feel like apologizing to God, because he gave us all this intellect and empathy and understanding and imagination. And what do we do with it? We kill each other. And so I would like to see a conversation where the boundary thing isn't so prevalent. Is this a U.S. problem, a European problem, or is it a human problem? And I realize that's where we're going wrong.
So, okay, so what you're saying that you would like to see, give me an example.
Okay, so instead of saying, well, look, I don't know, like, oh, the Dems do this and the libtards, you know, support child murder or whatever. Well, why don't we address the problem of unwanted pregnancies? Can't we go forward on that positively instead of just sorry, I have a cold, but instead of taking every issue into an opportunity to condemn someone else?
I hear what you're saying.
Take it into an opportunity.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. So here, I'm gonna let Reckless Ray respond to that. Reckless Ray, what say you, sir?
It has nothing to do with condemning one party or another. The issue is that women do not want to concede power that they've been given to be irresponsible. I can't make you a mother. You can make me a father.
But can you? I get it. And you know what? In an ideal world, everything would be 50-50. Both the woman and the man would have absolutely equal say about whether she's going to have the baby or whether she's not, and what's going to happen with it. But biology sets it up differently. There's a weighted scale. So, but you can move beyond that. You and me.
Okay, so
Jen, us.
Can I answer that?
Go ahead, Ray.
Sure. Okay. Legislatively, then let's institute financial abortions for men. You give me the right to walk away financially and you deal with it yourself if it's not my choice. And then we can call it good. The issue is legislatively, we cannot vote that in because there are more women than men, which would put you back at not being able to have an abortion.
But that's not the issue.
That literally is the issue, because I wouldn't care if you could terminate a pregnancy whether you wanted to or not if I could just walk away from a child that if I didn't want it. Because then we can all be irresponsible. But the issue is if everyone's irresponsible, it does not work out for women in their favor.
But is it fair if I decide to go ahead with an unwanted pregnancy and then you're liable for 50% of that kid for the rest of your life?
Well, that's exactly what a financial abortion would solve, because then it would be fair.
I agree.
But we can't have that because there aren't enough women that would go, you know what? You should be able to walk away from this if I want this child. I want this child. Right. So I do not want to be fully accountable for this child. You are now tied to this child. You're a dad.
Let's build a bridge here instead of fighting. Let's build a bridge. So let's look at why there are so many unwanted pregnancies.
Because people having sex.
So what do you think?
People having sex, Jenny.
Why don't we set up health centers in urban areas?
They're trying to help the kids in the 3rd grade how to have sex. They're teaching them.
I have something to this.
Go ahead. We got about 30 seconds more, then we're going to take a break.
All right. Jenny, what about foster care? What about people that basically cannot have babies and that people could be a surrogate, you know? What about foster care? There shouldn't be.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Say it again.
What's the problem with that?
Oh, I don't think that there's a problem. I just think what it is that when it comes to something like that, I think that what they're trying to do is offer some alternatives. I'm gonna end it on this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not ending the show. We just gonna come up on a break right here. But I think what they're saying is that instead of encouraging people to kill their babies, it should be more of them encouraging them to go ahead and have the baby.
You know what? If the foster care system
actually taking the child. So
better.
Break here, folks. More to show when we come back.
Charlie Kirk.
Sorry, Jenny, I had to cut you off because we were coming up on a break. But hold those thoughts, Jenny, because we're going to come right back in because the people in the city would definitely like to hear these thoughts. So it's nothing wrong with this. You're good.
Cities 92.9's
Jenny, are you eating your pillow?
WMBD.
I'm WMBD Chief
Are you getting
Meteorologist
mad and
Chris
biting the
Shades. It'll
pillow?
be a great start to the weekend with a lot of sunshine and highs.
Oh, by the
in
way,
the
guys,
70s. Temps will
with
drop
this
into the
going
upper
on now,
40s tonight.
when we come
And
back
on Sunday,
just like
mostly
Reckless
sunny
Ray,
with highs
you
in
guys,
the
you can
lower
go ahead and
70s.
like as we're talking now, we can just do it as an open discussion. So,
Oh no, you gonna release me on them?
yeah.
You think they're ready for that?
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna let you guys go, but like as you can see, there's comments off to the side, and like when we're on the air like this, if you want to, you guys can say, "Oh, I see off to the side that such and such said this," and here's my response.
Something I will respond to, someone commented that it's time to adopt a kid. My church is actually doing a program where we're doing a kids camp where foster kids can be adopted. It's totally free. So it's very easy process. And they've been doing that for a long time. So we are actually trying to make moves to make sure that any unwanted children, I hate saying that term, because every child should be wanted, can have an easy life or can have parents, you know?
That's great.
We need to start encouraging that. Sorry, Rick.
So up here in the Missouri, Kansas area, our foster care system is literally a for-profit system as well, and they pretty much usher those kids to jail. Like my mother actually was a part of it after she was done being a detective.
Right.
And they literally will place kids that were high risk in her home. She would get them normalized and they would move them somewhere where they got more money.
Right.
So like the issue isn't, oh, there's not these options. It's that they're not intended to work is the problem.
Yes.
And like, if you're looking at it from a systemic level, it's like, well, this isn't able to work. The only person who benefits from pregnancy is women. There's no person on this planet right now that wasn't here by the decision of a woman. I mean, let's be real. Every single one of us is sitting on this planet was a woman's choice.
Yeah. Exactly.
So if everyone can be irresponsible, then that's great. But then if everyone's irresponsible, that puts you back to square zero where you might as well not have legal abortions, because at that point it's like, well, now you're stuck with it anyway. Like where are we at now? Because like you get no benefit.
That's so smart because if you don't address the problem at the root or the question at the root and only address the excuse me, I'm sorry, I have a cold. If you only address the problem at the root, I mean, if you don't address the problem at the root, then this is what you're what's the expression? Putting out fires. And the foster care system is completely overloaded and full of flaws. It shouldn't be, but it is. So you have to consider reality when you make your decisions. And I think the only way to get to that is if we stop. Well, hopefully it will get us partly there. If we stop saying they want this, but they want this, and we want this, and they. I think we've lost the art of working together. And listen, I'm not like sitting around a campfire singing Kumbaya and cozying up to Nazis. But I
don't think you are. I think you came from a different generation, and you also didn't necessarily have the options because, like, women your age, a lot of them are still married to the same dude that they was married to. You didn't have the same options, so like you guys had a set trajectory. You didn't live in a society that was basically, as a woman, do whatever you want. You're not accountable for this.
And plus, back then,
I wish that were true.
What's going on, Bloomington Normal? I am Ty Smith, modern Renaissance man, and you're listening to my show, Cancel This. The phone number here is 309-451-9299. You can text the show at 309-451-9299. And if you would like to see me live in the studio and interact with me, go onto YouTube in the search part, type in Modern Renaissance Man. You will see an icon or a thumbnail or a picture of me. Click on that and you will see me live in the studio interacting with you, and you can interact with me. All right. So anyway, folks, we got some good conversation going on here right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go right back into it. We have some callers on the line that are tuning in through internet. We have Charles, we have Reckless Ray, we have Mo, we have Jenny, and we have Alexandria. So we're going to continue on this conversation. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway, what we were discussing is different options and different things that we can kind of talk about when it comes to abortion. So I'm going to go ahead and let these guys go right into it. You guys are still there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you think that if we stop, I guess, talking about this stuff, that you think it would just go away, or?
Are you addressing that to me? No, I don't think that at all. I think we go into every conversation with a fence already set up. You know, we're more interested in building fences than we are in building bridges. I guess that's.
Well, okay, so you said we're building fences instead of bridges. So I would say like a fence would represent a wall, and look what happened when we kind of did what we did with our wall at the southern border. Anything got in. So if you say we coming in with fences, what is a fence there to keep something?
No,
is it there to protect, or is it there to keep you from getting out?
What I'm referring to more is conversation, or in the context of discussion, because you know what, we elect our politicians, and I'm sure like politicians from both parties do not like win my approval for honesty, but we are on earth, we are on a country, we're on a world where a lot of people are so different, and God could either have made us rocks, we don't look outside ourselves, but he didn't. He made us people with imagination and intellect and empathy and understanding, and I think we just need to use it. And I hate to see every conversation starting with the Dems or the fascists or this.
So, Jenny, let me ask you something then. If somebody committed a crime, if let's just say you, Jenny, you having a nice little stroll down the road and you were mugged and you clearly seen who it was that did it to you. If the police officers them say to you, okay, Miss Jenny, what did the guy look like? Are you going to say, well, look, I don't want to start this thing off with saying it was a black man? What are you going to say?
I'm not denying accountability. You have to be accountable. You have to be responsible.
Wait, time out now. Wait, you said you have to be accountable, you have to be responsible. Who has to be accountable and who has to be responsible? Because if you're going to name the who, that means you're pointing out who did it. So if they're coming in the libs or the Dems, then they're pointing to who's doing it, right?
Wait, I'm sorry, I missed that last bit.
I said you said whoever did it has to be held accountable. And I said, who is the who? And if you name who the who is, then if I was to turn around and say, now look, I know you just named who it was that needs to be held accountable, but why should we start off with saying who needs to be held accountable if we don't want to name the who?
Of course we shouldn't, but that's different. What I'm saying is the way that we go into discussion or dialogue, we're already set up as in a division. And I would like, of course, I'm never going to agree with everything that everyone here says, and they're not going to agree with me. And I mean, and I'm probably like an anomaly because I'm like an historian that's studied ancient medieval history. So all this stuff is old hat in a way. But the point is, how do we go into it? Do we go into it looking to build a bridge or looking to build fences? I don't know. There's a difference between understanding why something happened and condoning.
Right. Give me a second. I think Charles want to chime in on this a little bit. Go ahead, Charles.
So, dealing with what Jenny is trying to say, let me see if I can bridge this gap. is Jenny, I would suggest, or I ask the question, what is your solution? So we're trying to come up with solutions. What is your solution to this?
Good question. No idea.
Well, we
hold on now. You can't come in here talking about we need to do this. Then we say, okay, so what should we do? I don't know.
What? Bridge to nowhere.
Solution.
No. The bridge is to relationships with people. What that does to our, or we can all move to Narnia. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, you want something.
Yeah, but Narnia doesn't exist.
Well, it does.
But give me a second. I think Alexandria, another female, is online. Alexandria, you there?
Yes, I am.
What would you like to chime in on this, Alexandria? Go ahead, sis. I know who you are.
I just wanted to answer Jenny. Accountability and responsibility looks like birth control or abstinence.
Ooh.
Those are the only options. I think we need to, I actually was going to say basically exactly what this comment Taz here says. which is we as women need to take responsibility of the choices we make, period. I think the same way that a man does not have a right to murder a baby and get away with it without going to prison, women need to be held to that same standard. We as women have over 31 different forms of birth control last time I checked. I think instead of teaching little girls that, you know, if they do go and be promiscuous and have sex, that they can kill their baby, what we need to teach our daughters and our family members, friends, is that there are so many different options of birth control. And if you don't want to be abstinent, you don't want to wait till you're married, then you should be on birth control. That is the only option. That's the only one. Because if you go and you have sex and then you have an abortion, that's not a solution. That makes you a murderer. That's not the answer. Birth control is always the answer.
Well, I agree. And that's why it's so strange to me that sorry, I'm sick. That so many people who are anti-abortion are also anti-Planned Parenthood. You know, if you divorce the fact that they set up abortions, but the accessibility of birth control, if you don't want abortions, then let people have birth control. Obviously, you want to, you know, nobody wants kids to have sex at 13 or whatever, and that's a different issue. And the other thing is, and here is where I think, honestly, we're kind of screwed by biology, which is that theoretically, everything with a baby should be 50-50, man and woman, but of course it's not, because we're the ones that have the baby. So I know it's tricky, but I agree. I think the answer is either don't do it, you know, or use birth control. And that's why I want
to interject a little bit, Jenny.
Me too.
So check this out. If since the world is big on changing definitions, everything right now, what if we change Planned Parenthood to Planned Murder?
Or Planned Parenthood to hire a hitman. That's literally
right. It's not to me. It's not planning to be a parent. You're planning to be a murderer.
No, I said let's take away the issue of abortion. What I'm saying is accessibility of birth control.
But birth control is already easily accessible by any doctor's office. Even if you are poor, you can get Medicaid insurance.
We were in fifth grade and they were handing out condoms to us.
I don't care where they get it,
but
as long as it's accessible. So when I use Planned Parenthood, I use that not because of anything to do with abortion, but that is one source of birth control.
Right,
but if I said, okay, let's make it planned murder. How about, planned chaotic, craziness at the time? Who knows?
But you're still dancing around the point that like all of these methods are putting control in the woman's hands.
Yeah,
100%. You get to still, even with birth control, and I'm not saying that I'm against birth control because I'm not. But even with birth control, we're still having the same conversation of a woman gets to be as irresponsible as she wants, and then she gets to pick whose baby, who becomes a dad.
Do you know that up through the 1970s, a woman wasn't allowed to have a credit card in her own name? It had to be in her husband's.
I mean, if you look at the amount of debt that's carried by men and women today, women have more debt. Like, you guys are irresponsible.
Yeah, that sounds like
I don't understand why.
I am so irresponsible. I know. I keep buying things. I keep buying books. What's wrong with me? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Jenny, hold on for a second. Somebody that's patiently been waiting here. Miss My Nectar Red, are you there?
Yes. I hooked up with you over on Ryan Upchurch. So how you doing? Part of the Creek Squad.
Okay, let's talk about hookups. My goodness.
So this is to me is like a multi-level situation. Mr. Ray, I'm on my phone, so I'm trying to read everyone's name. So Mr. Ray,
yes, ma'am.
What I would like to respond to you, sir. You keep referring to that it's a woman's choice. Well, I'm just going to be blunt, okay? All due respect. A woman and a man have to get together and have intercourse. You do know that to produce a child.
Right, but who's it inside for 9 months?
Right, but who also has to implant the semen inside of the woman? Which you have an option.
Who pushes it out?
Well, hold on a minute. Without that semen, sir, You can't get pregnant, and you have an option to condom up. Wrap that sucker up, just like I have an option to take a birth control. So it takes two to tango. Okay, and then the second thing I'd like to say to you, you say that we as a woman have a right to say, you're now a daddy. Honey, you can march yourself right up to that courthouse and say, I do not take responsibility of said child. And then guess what? Your financial obligation is over if the woman decides not to. Not if she allows it. No, sir. You have a right to deny a child.
No,
That
you
is not
cannot
legally
do that.
accurate. Not
in the United
Let me
States of
tell
America,
you,
you cannot.
you can say, I am not going to pay child support. You go in front of the
You can
judge.
also go to jail and end up working at FedEx, and they just take
And
your
then
whole
you
check.
can
I've seen it
say,
happen.
and I've also seen it happen to say that you are denying the rights of your child, and then you are removed as the father, where it
That
removes you
requires
financially.
two parties, though, legally.
To sign
You're
over your rights,
skirting
the
over the
woman
fact
has
that the
to
woman
agree.
has to also
You
be like,
sign over the rights to your child. That's what you do.
Right, but the
Period.
woman has to agree, and there has to be another
Thank you.
man to take over
Thank
the
you.
rights to that child. She has
Thank
to have
you.
a new husband.
Somebody has to catch
Jessica.
that bill. That's the end of the story, and it has to be a man.
Okay, I'm not gonna. Okay, that's like a pointless argument. But what?
No, it's
Okay,
not
so
a pointless argument. That's literally the argument that you're arguing against, and you're wrong.
I'm not. No, I have it. Like I said, as a multi-level. We can just go back to the beginning. How you produce a
All
child.
right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, things are heating up here at Cities 92.9. Things are ringing off the hook here. We're getting ready to take a break here. You listen to Cities 92.9 and do the talk about Mr. Normal. We'll be right back after this.
There's a fire up in here.
Oh no disrespect, Ray. I mean, I'm not heated at all.
It's no, I understand, dude. People yell at me all the time. You're good.
No, I'm not even. If I'm gonna let me turn my thing, I have a
It's
headset
not
on.
that simple.
No, I am like I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of like teetering. Like, okay, I get what you're saying as a man because I have like 5 brothers, and I've seen him pay out the ass for child support. But I'm a woman, and I'm like, wait a second. I want a choice. Do I have the child or do I not have the child? You know what I'm saying? So
No, I
That's why
100%
we have to
understand
be on
that.
birth
It's
control.
because there would be you would have power taken away from you. You're not going to feel comfortable about that, and I understand that 100%. 100%.
Ideally, it would be 50-50, but biology has given us
Men aren't even getting custody at 50-50. Like, we can't even say we want the kid and get them.
My
Like
choice.
so there's no 50-50. Like, you can't, I mean, in a pie in the sky world, I 100% agree with the 50-50 assessment.
There isn't. I said ideally, in an ideal world, it would be 50-50, but that is not what the situation is.
Right.
So hey, let me ask this question.
That?
Let me go ahead, Charles.
Same thing I asked Jenny. My neck is red, neck too red. What is the answer? What fixes this problem? What is the solution?
you know, I think that it goes because I've thought about this. My children are grown, and I have boys and girls, right? And then different situations in their life. So I've thought about this immensely because I was put in a situation where a child made a choice. Okay. And
when we come back on, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have
morals were tested
come online. So
that I thought about morally. So I have really thought about this intensely. So my thing is that you really have to think about, first morally, and then you have to teach protection. And then after the protection, the system needs to be into place where it comes into the politics of it, of what do we do with children that are conceived out of wedlock, or the mother doesn't want the child and the father doesn't want the child. What do we do with this now? Okay.
What's going on?
That's where it begins. It begins in the home about, hey, don't let everybody stick their penis in your vagina because this is what's going to happen. Okay. And then after that happens, then what do we do now? You know, so I think it starts in how to teach the female how to conduct herself.
My next, to that point you just made, the one thing that I should leave out is like after the baby's made, what do we do now?
Good conversation going on here. But right now we're getting ready to take a call from off the line.
No one forces women to carry children to term.
Right.
That person. Let's see if there's the other caller.
I understand that. If nobody was
all right, ladies and gentlemen. So what we're getting ready to do, we're going to go back into this conversation that we were having online and let you guys chime in on it. So here we go.
Yeah, I think it needs to also the sex education in the school needs to be amped up.
Amped up, like when you say amped up, what do you mean?
Well, I know that they teach about the birds and the bees on some level, but I think that they really need to go into depth. Like, okay, whenever you have sex, this is what could happen. You're going to have a child, and then play out every scenario. I know that sometimes they have you take a kid home, but to make sure it doesn't cry, this, that, and the other. But that's fine. But you're not paying bills. You're not buying formula. You're not buying diapers. You're not finding daycare. You're not going to a job. I mean, all these things take into play whenever you have sex at a young age. And then you have to become a mother at 15, 16, 14, 13, whatever. Okay, these things are huge. Just like they don't teach you how to run a checkbook in school. What the hell's up with that? Okay, they're going to teach you about all these other things, but hey, I need to know how to run my checkbook. I need to know how to pay my light bill.
Okay, so give me a second. My neck. Give me a second here to interject a little bit. Give me a second here. Give me a second, guys. So what you just said right there, that's the issue that I have with it being taught in school, period, that those skills are not being taught at all before they actually are teaching sex. Why are they teaching people to be irresponsible at such a young age? To me, my two sons are 20 and 18 years old right now. They didn't get that education in school. There was no
mine.
There was no need to. To me, I think that what it does, for instance, I always say this, and you guys might hear me repeating myself. I always say this. How did you learn how to write? You're going to say in school. How did you learn how to spell in school? Unless you're homeschooled, I get that. How did you learn how to do your math in school? How did you know that you knew how to do math? Because they gave you tests. So what I'm saying that for is that I think when they interject what they call sex education into the classroom, then you see children go out and they try to do what they have been taught in school. So an example would be, I remember being in the 3rd grade and we got done watching some Disney movie. I cannot remember what it was, but all I know in the Disney movie, whenever the prince kissed the princess, the teacher went like, ooh, they did all that. So guess what happened at recess? 2 kids got in trouble. Guess what they were doing behind the tree? They were kissing. Now, how come they didn't get the ooh? No, they got in trouble and got their butts whooped by their parents. So then now the child's confused. Wait a minute, I thought that was a positive thing. I thought that was a good thing because the teacher was happy when they kissed on the Disney movie, but now here the teacher is dragging them back to the principal's office, mad and yelling at them because they kissed. So to me, I think that when they interject like sexual education into school, it's more focused on the how. And one thing that they do skip big time, why teach the benefits of having a relationship when you're not even teaching relationship? There's no relationship curricula in school. There's no how to be with a man, how to be with a woman, different things you're going to deal with in a relationship, different arguments, disagreements, different fights you're going to have. They don't teach you how to deal with that. So what I think ends up happening is that they teach you to be so superficial. They teach you to be so infatuated with the sex itself that people are going to find out, wait a minute, is there more to this? And then the man and the woman looking at each other like, well, I don't get it. And that's why you see that the minute some people get into a fight or something like that, it's easier to run away and break up because they've never been taught actually how to fight in a relationship, how to argue, how to deal with it. There might be times where a man might need a day just to kind of get his steam down, so he makes sure he won't say the wrong thing to his wife, and vice versa. She might need to be taught how, in that moment of passion and emotion, make sure you don't say the wrong thing to your husband. Take some time, go breathe. Y'all need to get away from each other a little bit so y'all won't say the wrong thing to each other to hurt each other. None of that is being taught, and what you end up seeing is that it's too late. Now we have over 50% marriages fail in America, which I can understand because relationship is not taught.
I agree with that. I mean, I do agree that relationship is a big thing and should be taught. But the practical side of sex education, and I don't mean like bombarding the kindergartners with like lurid, photo shoots from Playboy or whatever. I mean the idea of responsibility.
They're doing that now. They just make it look cartoonish.
Huh?
They're doing that now, but they just make it look cartoonish. They're showing it. They're showing boys giving oral and all kind of stuff. It's crazy.
You know what? People should read a damn book. Read a couple of books. Read history.
Janie, we on the air. You gonna get us fine, girl.
I said, excuse me. I didn't even say the whole word.
I know, but the people heard it. It's live.
Oh my goodness! I'm sorry. If you have to find anybody, find me.
You got $100,000 for that cuss word. I mean,
no, I don't, because I'm an historian. What kind of money do you? I have like Roman coins or whatever.
You don't get historian privilege, though. Okay, Ty, you know what's funny about you talking about school and tests is I think one good test to know if a woman is a responsible woman and a good woman that respects herself is whether she has children out of wedlock or not. Because when it comes back to whose responsibility is it with a pregnancy, if a woman is a good woman that respects herself and wants the best for herself and her children, she will not allow a man to get her pregnant unless he is her husband.
That's way too simplistic.
That's not.
You know, I'm sorry, I agree. That's where I come with my moral issues. I agree with her 100%. And that's what I ran into whenever a situation happened in my family, because I'm like, we have spoken on my family very openly about sex and what happens when you have sex and that from a young age, a period starting age. When you have a period, I think is a great time for a female to understand. Okay, when you have your period, you know, you should know, because that's what makes you able to have children. When you become, okay, so that's when the slowly, gradually start talking about it. I'm not the full blown thing, okay? Easy, lady, all right?
I think even before
Give me a second here. We have somebody that's actually calling in on the line, so give me a second. Let's see what they have to say here. Caller, you on Cities 92.9?
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to kind of chime in on the education process here. I'm a father of 3 daughters. The first of which is an adoptive niece, whose mother has had at least 5 abortions that we know of.
Jeez.
So when I call her my daughter, when my niece was
Can y'all hear it, or did it cut out for you guys too?
and whatnot. And I said, "What's your opinion?" And she says, "Well, of course, she's pro-choice. Women should get the right to choose." And I just said to her, "Now stop and think what you're saying, because
I can't hear anything. Hello?
Can't hear.
No, you're muted, Ty.
sudden that is a completely different conversation. There's no recourse for a young girl. It's kind of like, where does milk come from? The store or a cow? If you've never been to a farm, you don't know. And this is the same type of thing. They don't put value to that baby's life.
Good point. Good point, man. And you have 3 of them, you said, right? And this woman had 5?
I have 1 of her children, but two other daughters, another relative has taken.
Oh, man. I wish that we were able to get to you earlier because I wanted to continue on and ask you some questions. But unfortunately, we are towards the end of our show, folks. For my people that are viewing on YouTube, I really, really appreciate you guys all chiming in.
Can I tell a joke?
Chiming in. We're live on the air right now, but I got to get ready to call out. But here's the thing. On YouTube, I'm able to go home and we can get back on and continue this conversation so we don't have to worry about commercials.
I have a great joke.
But what I want to say to everybody is I appreciate you all calling in. I appreciate you all chiming in. Bloomington Normal, you guys all heard. It was hot in here today, and hopefully we get our same callers to come back next week. Bloomington Normal, you can check me out on YouTube, Modern Renaissance Man, and catch me live on air there, all right? Folks, we get ready to get out of here. You too, folks, I will see you guys later because I want to continue this conversation. I am Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man.